Well, my friends, good afternoon. Middle of the afternoon here in New Jersey. It just ticked past the afternoon on the West Coast. And for all of you over in the UK, European countries, good early evening, middle of the evening. This is Material Issues, episode number 213. I'm Mark Hershberger of Pop Detective Records. I'm over here in very hot, humid, sunny South Jersey. Joining me, as always, my very good friend, the president of the International Pop Overthrow Music Festival, Mr. David Bash. Bling, hat, shirt, you got it all going on this evening. David, how you doing? This afternoon.
I'm doing well, Mark. This is the earliest Material Issues I think we've ever done, earliest in the day.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah, I mean it's fine with me. Noon works for me, and 3 o'clock works for you. And 8 o'clock works for our guest, who's in the UK. But yeah, we it's been starting to count down the days till IPOLA. Less than 2 weeks. And lineups are all set except for one. There's one slot that's still open that I've been trying to fill, but I need the right band for it, so it hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure it will. And New York, the New York lineups aren't done yet, but the number of bands I've pretty much hit. So we're moving really quickly on that one, fortunately. And then Boston and Toronto are moving along quite well. I didn't mention this earlier, but my brother Joel and I are coming back to New York in September, more or less for a nostalgia trip. It's very important to him, especially, to go back to the places we used to live and hang out.
Right.
And we'll also be going to different parts of the city, and we'll be coming down into Jersey. So hopefully we'll be able to connect, we'll have lunch or something. But we'll be there for about 5 days. I think we'll be there from the 10th through the 15th or 14th of September. So hopefully you can keep a little bit of that open, and we can come visit.
Yeah, we'll see if it overpasses a weekend or something. That'd be great. Otherwise, September 2nd, I go back to the Fed full time.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So,
well, we'll see you. We can see you in the evening, of course.
We'll see something. We'll figure something out.
We'll figure something out. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that as well. In between the IPO festivals, let's see what else significant is going on. I'm sure something, but.
No, we gotta.
I haven't been sleeping all that great, so I'm in a fog right now. So things aren't coming as quickly as they might.
Well, you got a lot of stuff coming up here. You got a lot of stuff on your brain and a lot of watermelon in your belly.
I really do. And watermelon in my belly, yeah, too much of it apparently. The diet. I mean, it's still going fine. I weigh myself every Monday, so I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but. Last Monday brought some bad news weight-wise, which I was a little surprised at. But before that, the news was too good, so it's probably just evening itself out.
Everything's a balance, man.
Yeah.
And as we talked earlier, I'm day 5 with the sleep apnea Inspire surgery and the implant and the cord and all the electrical stuff. So. My sleeping has not been great, only because it's a getting used to process. If every breath you take involves an electric shock to your tongue, and that's kind of what I'm getting used to. But it's going to be good. It just takes time to calibrate and get it well. But I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm looking forward.
That's not the kind of thing my tongue enjoys.
But bump.
Yeah. Oh, here's a. Watch of the day. I haven't worn this one for a while. It's the Knopf KNOPF NY 405. It's nice. It's an abstract image of the Chrysler Building in New York.
Yeah.
Got this a few years ago, and I really like it. But with all the watches I have, it doesn't get as much wrist time as it might. None of them do, really, but that's okay. I've got enough clothes to color coordinate. That's how it works.
I love your color coordinated watches.
You got to do that. Well, anyway, let's coordinate our guest here because
Yes,
he's
indeed.
been waiting to come on. He's had a long and storied career. He's put out a lot of records, but the one that people know the most was his debut album called "Would You Believe" from, I believe, 1968. Or is it 67 even? One of them years. Let's see if it says it on here. No, it doesn't. Well, he'll illuminate. Anyway, he was still a teenager when it came out. Well, came out as a misnomer because it actually never did come out. His label, Immediate Records, as I understand it, went bankrupt right before they were going to release it. So the only things that leaked out were promo copies, and not very many of them at that. So if you own an original copy of this album, Would You Believe, you are sitting on a gold mine. I've seen a couple in my life. One was being sold for $13,000 and the other for $15,000, and they both did get sold.
Man.
So people want them very much, including myself. But that's probably way out of my league. But in the meantime, there are so many great reissues of it, both on CD and vinyl. This one's my favorite, the one from looks like 2006 on Sanctuary. It's a 2-disc set, which includes the album plus bonus tracks, and then a disc called Snapshot, which has demos and outtakes from this particular album. Anyway, so yeah, it definitely had a renaissance right around the turn of the millennium with a few reissues and then later reissues as well. So every soft psych pop collector knows about it, fortunately. And if you don't, you really need to. We'll play a couple of tracks from it. Anyway, after that, he like I said, he's released several albums. The next one was Love Songs from 1974. This is a CD reissue of it that he put out on his own label, Southwest Records. And Southwest also has a few other releases of his. I have this one, Penumbra, and I've got this one here, Under One Banner. And in between, he had a band called White Horse. And one of the songs that he wrote on this album, called Can't Stop Loving You, Though I Try, became a big hit for a few people, including Leo Sayer. But Keith Urban recorded it as well, among others. And you see, it's got a bit of a twang to it. So it's a little bit different from what he normally writes. But it worked out well in terms of people being attracted to it and people releasing it and having big hits with it. Anyway, he's here now. We're going to talk about his career, and we're really, really glad to have him. So without further ado, would you please give a huge Material Issues welcome to Mr. Billy Nicholls.
Hello, everyone.
Wow. What a thrill, Mr. Nicholls, to have you here. A fan of your music for a long time. Can't Stop Loving You, just one of the most gorgeous tracks, period. And no wonder everybody wants to cover it. It's just virtually perfect. And that's a hard thing to do.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, very, very different for you. It has a very strong Neil Young feel, which is, not that country thing. And your vocal quality was similar to Neil's on that one, I thought, anyway.
Well, yeah, the thing is that it was the only, just as I was about to come over to Los Angeles to record the album, a friend of mine, a drummer friend of mine, Bruce Rowlands, heard that I was going over there to record, and he said, Billy, you've got to write a 3/4 song. You've got to write a wartime. If you're going to go to America, you've got to do it. And I've never thought of that. He left my flat, and I went straight to the piano. I wrote that song.
Wow. And it's been touched on, covered by a lot of people, including a Taylor Swift version, which was crazy.
Yeah, she did it in BBC Live Lounge, I think it was. Yeah. I think she was asked on BBC Live Lounge. You, if you're invited to play on it, you've got to do a cover. You have to do. You can't just do your own stuff. And she chose that song. because she said it was the most beautiful song she'd ever heard or something. That's what, something like that.
I'll tell you what, my respect level for Taylor Swift just jumped about 200% when I found out about that. Yeah, I was just
What
like,
was she aware that you wrote it?
No, I think that she probably thought Phil Collins wrote it.
yeah,
Oh, right, that's right.
Phil Collins.
We need to. Yeah, next time I speak with her, I'll make sure that's corrected.
Well, that would be really kind of you. Thank you, David.
Well, what a career, Billy. Where, if we can kind of rewind a bit, where did you grow up?
I was born in in Shepherd's Bush, an estate called White City, and I lived there for 11 years, and then I moved to Roehampton, which is just near Richmond, and then I moved to Richmond and Twickenham, and that's always been my home until recently. Now I'm living in Lyme Regis in Dorset. By
Are
the
so we're just so for people who don't know the UK that well, I know Shepherd's Bush is part of London because I've been there, but
yeah,
some of the other areas, are they all not Dorset, but are they all in the London area?
yeah, they're all West London. All those places I just mentioned are in West London, within a few miles of each other.
Now, did you grow up in a musical family? Was music a part of your childhood, and that's kind of how you
Yeah, my dad was in a band during the war called the Squadronaires, an RAF band, and he used to sing and play bass, upright bass, scat sing and stuff. And when I was very young, this is before television, by the way, before I had a television. That's how far back we're going. He taught me how to play a few chords on the ukulele banjo, and he tried to teach me how to read music, but I didn't want to know. And I still don't read music very well. But we'd sit around when the sun was going down, and we just he'd play these lovely melodies that that he knew, and we just do harmony work, and he'd give us harmony work to do, and that's how I was brought up, really.
And not being, you say even to this date you don't read music very well. When you're writing, then what's the writing process? How do you notate it? Are you just recording into a device and somebody else helps you with the actual?
Yeah, I've never written music down. And always it seems the music comes first, and I've always got around at least 10 ideas going, even to this day. And then if it sticks around in my head, then I know I'm onto something, and then I'll write a lyric to it. But and these days my son Morgan, he's been in lots of bands, but he's much more of a recording person, and he just says, "Dad, come on, let's do some recording," and I put something down. I mean, I have got tape recorders that I use. I'm a bit of a Luddite. I don't really use computers very much, but that's how I did it. And so if it stays with me, then I've got something. Then I'll record it.
So it always fascinates me though when people say that the music usually comes first, or the lyrics come first, or sometimes it happens all at one thing. So if you're just driving or you're walking down the street, when you say the music comes first, do you just hear a la da 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 in your head?
Yeah, every time I go to the piano or pick up a guitar, if something just happens and it just comes out. I mean, I've written one song that I remember that it both came at the same time, the lyric and the music, called "Without Your Love," which is on the White Horse album.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, and so that the words and the music came at the same time, and I was shocked by that. That was just, I mean, I was literally shocked. It was just, I was so overjoyed. But
because that's a pretty complex song musically. So for the music to come first, that's something.
Yeah, it's a very unusual tuning for the guitar as well. So it's something that's unique. So it was one of those amazing things that can happen. But usually it's music first. I have written music to other people's lyrics, like Pete Townsend. He gave me quite a few pieces of music to write lyrics to. So I've done that. Some of them stuck, but Yeah, I can do it, but I prefer to wait for a really good tune to come across.
Yeah, I agree. That generally is the best way for the melodicists out there. Speaking of melodies, um, given your age, I got to think that the Beatles must have hit you really hard when they first came out.
Do you know what they did? To be quite honest, as soon as I heard them, I think it was "Love Me Do" on BBC. They played "Love Me Do" with the harmonica and everything, and that was it. I knew then that I want what I wanted to do, not to be in a band, but I knew then that I wanted to write. So I started writing songs almost immediately. I went to school, went into the music cells, they used to call them, downstairs at school, and I found this smashed up guitar and I stuck it together. And I managed to get some strings. I strung it up exactly how it was meant to be strung, and I wrote a song that day. That was it.
Wow.
I was about, I don't know, I must have been about 12, 13, something like 12. And then I just carried on writing from then. So,
Well, it obviously was just a passion. It was something inside of you that clicked, and that was just what you had to do. And
yeah, yeah. So the Beatles had, and of course, they had such a big influence. I took some of the songs that I've started writing when I was a little bit older to George Harrison, and from then he helped me get into the business.
that story amazes me in that you essentially went to George's house and knocked on the door and said, "Can you listen to this stuff?" And he's like, "Come back next week and I will." I
Yeah,
mean, if
took
you
it.
tried to do that today at Taylor Swift's house, you'd be in Siberia. We'd never hear from you again.
No, you'd never get past, a guard that was like 1,000 feet away from her house. So.
I know he thought it was very funny that this kid knocked on his door. I mean, he was quite shocked, but he thought it was funny, so that's why he said, "Come back next week." You obviously know the story, but my sister recorded over some of the stuff that I'd recorded,
Yeah.
and he said, "You know, I didn't know you wrote 'I Left My Heart in San Francisco.'" And I went, "Oh no." But what he could hear bleeding through, he said, "I could hear something that was really good. So come back next week if you can." I did, and that was it. He just invited me in, and we just played it. And
That
then
that that is wonderful. So you
the-
said you didn't want to be in a band. Were you in one at all up until?
no, I've never really wanted to be in a band. I'd put little scratch bands together to do demos, but all the demos that I was doing after I got signed to Immediate Records as a writer, I recorded with Caleb Quay at Regent Sound in Denmark Street, and the two of us we loved what we were doing, and we were just progressing musically together over a couple of years. He was next door at Dick James Music. Um, they were bang next door to each other, literally. Um, but if I needed someone to play piano or play a bit of guitar, I just called Caleb and we go into the studio, and I could go in the studio whenever I liked. So
Were
it was
you on
great.
his record, "A Woman of Distinction"?
No, I wasn't. No.
It's a great song.
Yes, he's a fantastic. I mean, he was such an inspiration to me. I mean, everything that I wrote, he found something that perfect to play with it. You know, he played on the "Would You Believe" album, and he played on the Love Songs album. It was just us two on the Love Songs album, pretty much. There's a few other guest appearances, but basically it was just the two of us. I played my song and he played drums, and I remember him saying, he said, "Oh, we've got to get a drummer." He said, "I'll play drums." I mean, I didn't know you could play drums. He said, "Well, I can, sort of," and that was it. You know? It was
How did I mean? You were still pretty young at that time. How did Andrew Loog Oldham discover you?
he. For some reason, I don't. Um, George sent my tapes to Dick James, who lost them, and because he lost them, he said, "Can you come to the studio and you can record them in a better format, and I give you a demo disc at the end of it." And Caleb was behind the jump at that time. He was engineering, and that's how we met. And for some reason, it went next door to Immediate Records, and a guy called Tolliday, who was in A&R or something, heard the tape and played them to Andrew because he loved it. And that's how Andrew heard it. And then I got a call from Andrew saying, "Would you come and see me?" So I went up to New Oxford Street where the Immediate Records was, and he said, would you like a job as a songwriter? 20 quid a week. That was it.
Wow.
That's unreal. And you know, knowing the whole story of Would You Believe, and loving that album, and a lot of subsequent things you did, when I started going back into your career, what I didn't realize, and what I really didn't know till not too long ago, was your Del Shannon connection. And I mean, I'm a big Del Shannon fan, and Home and Away is such a gorgeous album. And then I find out you've got 3 tracks that you wrote, or I think 3 tracks on that album that are absolutely gorgeous tracks. It seems like everything you touch, Billy, is just a gorgeous track. And
well, they were some of the first songs I'd ever written, you know, just like Would You Believe. So some of them, a lot of them are incredibly naive. You know, lyrically, I'm embarrassed. I mean, sorry, but then I suppose everybody's embarrassed of what they do when they're very young. But musically, I still quite like some of it. I could still understand why I wrote the music. But the lyrics are a bit strange. I mean, people saying that Would You Believe was a psychedelic album, which is ridiculous because I never took acid, never have. You know, never taken anything like. Well, I was smoking. Yeah, then everyone was smoking dope, but you know, I never took acid. So
I think it's the sound of the guitars. They're not. I don't think the implication is that you did drugs, but that it has that. And I'm not a musician, so I can't articulate this well, but it just has that sound, guitar sound, that intermingles with the keyboards that's reminiscent of other psychedelic albums. So that's why we got the label.
It has that sound, that sort of 60s sound. And with when people like Nicky Hopkins playing harpsichord and baroque stuff, you know, I was so lucky. I was so young and have all those incredible musicians around. But
indeed.
Well, I have to say, I mean, you were talking about Del Shannon. His version of your song "Come Again," which he calls "Cut and Come Again," is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, that's the original title, "Cut and Come Again," which is an old saying. It's about gardening. But and when I said it should be called "Cut and Come Again." And there's a book by H.E. Bates, and one of the stories is called "Cut and Come Again." She said, "Well, no, we can't use that then." So he called it "Come Again," which is a shame.
Indeed, just beautiful music, and that's some of my favorite Del stuff. And I had to go back and revisit even his catalog. So you've led me down different roads, just as a offshoot of your music. So. But you know, after Would You Believe, Love Songs, and my favorite album, White Horses, is one of my favorite albums. Period. You know, it probably ranks in my top 20 of all time. I just think it's such a great album. It's really, really well done. Beautiful songs. Just really amazing stuff, Billy.
Yeah, we was very lucky to have some of the other musicians, some top musicians in LA at that time. Some guys out of Little Feet, and they were just.
Jeff Porcaro from Toto was drumming on number.
That's right.
Yeah,
I think his dad might have played percussion on it as well. I can't. Yeah, but Billy Payne and Paul Pereira, and there was some great music. Freddie Tackett, and we were very lucky to have those musicians with us at the same time.
If we could, let's get, just for now at least, with Would You Believe. A lot of articles say that the album was greatly influenced by Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. Do you see it that way, or just
not at all? The fact is, though, that I was very into the Beach Boys, just like the Beatles. I was just in awe of them. Brian Wilson. And we had carte blanche to listening to a lot of the stuff before anyone else did, because Immediate Records published the Beach Boys. So I was listening to albums like Smiley Smile before they'd come out,
Oh, wow.
So I was influenced, but that album is definitely not. That's another embarrassment when people compare it to Pet Sounds. It's just not fair. They're two totally different albums, and I wouldn't put that album in the same class as Pet Sounds. Or you couldn't. It's so different. It's not the same class. It's just they're very different albums.
No,
Um,
everybody has different tastes, and if you talk to some people, some people think it's better than Pet Sounds.
oh, God.
Depends on who depends on who you are. I know you become in awe of a band, and you think, oh, nothing I could do could ever touch them. But other people hear them a little bit more objectively, I guess, and
Yeah.
some people think so. I can guarantee you there are people out there who think that.
Mhm.
Let's
Well,
play a
yeah.
track from it, if that's okay.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
I have two tracks queued up. Obviously, the title song is probably the one that people know the most because it's the title song and it's been comped a lot. But here's one of my favorites on the album. It's called "Life Is Short." What can you tell us about that one?
This album, by the way, was done in about 2 or 3 weeks. That Glyn Johns remembers, but it was actually a little bit longer than that. But the majority of it was done, like he said, the backing tracks were done. I think there was a couple of tracks that took not longer to do, but were at a different time. Like "Girl from New York," we did that at a different studio, Empire Studios, and not Olympic. But the majority of it was done in 2 or 3 weeks. That's what Glyn John said. And so "Life Is Short" is just one of the tracks that I'd already written about 6 months before. I think Dana Gillespie recorded it.
Yeah.
So it was just one of a bunch of tracks that Andrew liked. I had so many songs. These are the ones that Andrew chose that we should do.
Wow.
Well, he chose well. Here we go. The third track on the Would You Believe album, "Life Is Short," here on Material Issues.
Life is short and you won't even talk to me. Girl, I know it. Life is short and you won't spare a thought for me. Girl, I know it now. Time is slipping by, my love. Please don't say goodbye, my love. Finding you took long enough for me.
Gorgeous song, Life is Short by Billy Nicholls from his debut album, Would You Believe? You look at the cover, Billy, and that's another reason why people think the cover certainly evokes images of acid and psychedelics. Whose idea was, what did you think of the artwork when it was first presented to you?
Well, I went out into Hyde Park and with this photographer called Anthony Stern, who was meant to take just photographs of me for the album cover, and it was him that just did all these weird things with pieces of copper sheeting, and I just went along with what he did, and then he brought the images to the table, and Andrew just came into the office and went, I want that one, but can you put that one, that transparency across over that one? And he just did it very, very quickly. And that was it. It was done. And that was the album cover.
I guess he probably wanted people to think that it was a psychedelic album.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, but you listen to the song, and how much of like the bass part were you responsible for writing? Was that really your vision? Because the bass work there is incredible, and the bass lines are really fantastic. And the same thing with the horn section coming in with the trumpet jabs, just absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, this was just contributions from the session people. Really, these are
Wow.
the people. Yeah, I mean, there's only a few people that I can remember because it was done so fast. I mean, John Paul Jones was involved. I'm not sure whether he was playing bass on everything. I don't think he was. No, he wasn't. But Big Jim Sullivan definitely was playing a lot of guitar. So, you know, there was so many session musicians involved that you couldn't keep a track on. I can't remember. It was done so fast. I can't remember who they were a lot of the time.
And at the time, you weren't thinking, this is going to be amazing, so I've got to remember and write down everything about what I do.
No, because that wasn't the sort of thing that was happening at that time. If someone came in with a camera, you'd be looked down upon. You know, well, who do you think you are? You're not supposed to be taking photographs. You're not being asked in here, so get out. You know, and people would get paranoid if someone started taking photographs, let alone taking notes. You know,
Well, and that's just funny. Now, so many years after the fact, in our circles, people are loving the album. Now they want to know everything about it. And it wasn't something where you purposely were trying to remember everything about it. You were just doing what you needed to do at the time and see what happens. And then nothing happened because Immediate Records folded, and it never came out. So you moved on.
I had to move on. Yeah, I was incredibly disillusioned because it happened so fast, and as soon as we'd finished it, it was all thrown up in the air, and Immediate folded, and everyone dispersed, and we were a very close sort of family unit. We were all singing and playing on each other's albums. You know, I sang a lot on the Small Faces album, Ogden's Nut and Flake, and various others, and the Nice, and you didn't even get credited, let alone get paid. You didn't even think about that at that time.
Yeah.
And I was only 16, 17.
But you had visions of like something happening, and you put the time in. You wrote the songs. They're recorded. They sound fantastic. And here we go. And then nothing. I mean,
nothing.
Nothing happened. Yeah. And
well, nothing at the time, but obviously some things later on. And that album, this album did have a profound effect on some people. One band that it had an effect on, was a band that you may or may not be aware of, because they may have ultimately contacted you. A band from New York called Zombies of the Stratosphere. They really loved the song I'm about to play now, and they did a cover version of it. And it's on one of my festival, International Pop Overthrow. We do promotional CDs, and bands who play the festival submit tracks. And this band, Zombies of the Stratosphere, submitted this one, and they did a really faithful cover of it. And I'm sure you'll know immediately what it is. It's track number 7 on the album, and here we go.
and GCs. I have found a test that makes me think better. It's a London social degree. If you pass it and you see any meaning, girl, you won't have to go to church to believe. You will see the love that makes you think better. It's a London social degree. Spreading love around the world to everyone who wants to feel love, baby. Don't fight, baby. Tell your mom and dad and everyone that's thinking about to stop now, baby. Love now, baby. If you pass it and you see any meaning, girl, you won't have to go to church to believe. You will see the love that makes you think better. It's a London social degree. Spreading love around the world to everyone who wants to feel love, baby. Don't fight, baby. Tell your mom and dad and everyone that's thinking about to stop now, baby. Love now, baby. Yes, I went to school when I was a youngster, but you can keep your mass and GCs. I have found a test that makes me think better. It's a London social degree. It's a London social degree. It's a London social degree.
Right. So I have to ask you, Billy, is a London social degree a real thing?
No, it's not. No, and I think that's why they think it's a psychedelic album, because they just say LSD, London Social Degree.
Oh, I never even thought of that. My God. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, number 2.
Ex-
Wow.
Yeah, and that's right. So that's where I took it from, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. But I wouldn't have done it from LSD because I never took the stuff. So
Yeah.
and yeah, that was my Beatles influence, definitely.
Well, yeah. So the album never does come out at the time, but suddenly in the late 90s, there's a renaissance as the internet starts flourishing and people start meeting each other who are of like-minded taste. And somebody brings up, "Would you believe?" and then like a groundswell occurs, and there's this renaissance that the album has, and ultimately, in around the turn of the millennium, Sanctuary Castle gets involved, and they reissue the album. Did this absolutely shock you, or I mean, did you see it coming, or how did it all happen?
I'll tell you how it happened. I've got 2 mint copies of the original album.
Whoa.
And so what I did was, when I set up Southwest Records, I thought, well, I never signed a record deal with Immediate Records, ever. And I never signed a record deal with anybody as regards this album, because it just didn't happen. And so it's very contentious who owns it. I think Charlie Records think they own it for the rest of the world, and BMG think they own it for Great Britain. But I never did sign a record deal. So I just thought, when I set up my own record label, I got those 2 mint copies, and I made a master from the albums and put out a CD on my label. And as soon as I did that, that was it. Charlie cloned it and put another CD version of it out. So it all spun from my doing that. That's what it's. And then Castle approached me and said, "Should we just do a one-off pressing?" I said, "Okay," but I've never did sign a deal. I signed something with Sanctuary because it was a joint effort,
Right, but Sanctuary, at least they had the courtesy of contacting you and getting your approval and everything, which was nice.
That's right, yeah. But I suppose since I've done that, everyone seems to think that probably is good enough now. They can actually do what they like. So,
yeah.
But I've never, apart from the few copies that Sanctuary put out, I've never received a penny from anybody for this album, ever.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you sell me one of your mint copies, I'll give you several pennies. Thousands of them, in fact. You'll get more money from me than you would have gotten from any of your record deals, possibly.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, yeah, that, of course, that is a holy grail album for me. And I think I may have sent you the photo at one time. At one of the record shows that we had in LA, a gentleman from the UK came over, had a table there, and he had an original copy, and he was selling it for $13,000. And I said, well, you know what? I'm never going to be able to afford this, but would you mind if I hold it and get a photo taken? And I had been vetted already. So he said, sure, okay, why not? And so I did that. And for a split second, I thought, you know what? If I run out of here with this album, they're not going to be able to catch me. I
did actually meet somebody in Hollywood. It was at Disney Records, Bob Cavallo, who used to manage me with the White Horse album. He didn't know about this album, but somebody in his office had a mint copy of Would You Believe? And when he found out I was coming to see him, he brought it in, and he said, "Can I show you this?" And it hadn't been out of its sleeve, I don't think. And I said, "Well, that's amazing. I can see it's absolutely mint." And I said, "Do you want me to sign it for you?" He went, "No."
Well, what do you? I mean, the only copies that are out there are, I guess, promo copies. Is that how it got out? And do you know the estimate of how many were?
I think there might have been. There wasn't even 100. I don't think.
Wow. And for that, well, you have a couple in your possession. There was a couple out in the West Coast, but you know there could be people somewhere just that's in their parents' stash.
Oh, absolutely.
And nobody,
I remember the few that I had. I gave one away to the woman who ran the sweet shop round the corner because she wanted to hear what I did.
And these were all just promo pressings released in the UK. Nothing was guess, unless somebody sent something overseas. But it just,
I think maybe a few copies went to Europe. I'm not sure. I've got no idea. And it collapsed so fast in Media Records after that album. I mean, I really don't know. I was, as I said, I was quite disillusioned, and I walked away, and I didn't know what was going on. And I used to hang out with the Small Faces because they were disillusioned as well. They didn't know what they were going to do.
Yeah.
And so I hung out with Ronnie Lane and Mac, and but then Andrew asked me if I'd go to look after his house in Connecticut, which had a grand piano and a Hammond organ or something. And I said, okay, I'll go, and I ended up going to America for 6 months and learned how to play the piano a bit better than I could.
Well, that's nice. So, but you don't release anything for about another 6 years until this album comes out, Love Songs, which I found. I think I told you I found an original pressing of it last time I was in London a few years ago, and so I bought that. And now you've reissued it. Well, you reissued it here, in 2001, I guess, on your label, Southwest. But it's been reissued on vinyl recently. Was that with your blessing also?
Yeah, because I own that copy. I mean, I own that tape. It was given back to me. Billy Gaff, who ran GH Records, gave the everything back to me. So I own that record now. So I'm just in the process of putting it out. Well, I've done that now. I'm putting it out on vinyl, and I put on I've re-released the CD, and remixed the CD, and re-looked at the tracks, and I've found an extra track that I didn't put on the Love Songs album that I did. That Pete Townsend engineered.
And go ahead, Mark.
I'm just going to say I'm running across the bottom of the screen, BillyNicholls.com. That's the website where all your merchandise you have available is available through BillyNicholls.com. So if you want to get the CD version, the album version, I believe that's still available. You can order it through your website, right?
Yeah, it's only just come out actually in the last few months. So you can buy it now. The vinyl is exactly the same as the original.
Yeah.
But the CD is even though it's from the master, it's been re-looked at, and we put on an extra track as well. But
Now, is it cheaper if I ask you to sign it, or is it?
it probably devalue it. That's a
That's what I'm
problem.
saying.
That's what the other guy
I
was
get a signed copy cheaper because it's devalued, and they would want you to sign. Would you believe? Oh, it's funny.
Yeah.
Well, this album, you know, as obviously, you know, times and sounds change in rock music. This album is, you know, much more 70s sounding, much more laid back and acoustic. I really like it as well, and I have a track queued up, which I think is my favorite, called Gypsy. What can you tell us about that?
Gypsy was it's like all the songs on the album. It started life. I wrote the song on my own, obviously, but then when I walked into Olympic, I played it on acoustic guitar to Caleb, and he said, "Okay, that's it. Let's just do it." And he put drums down, and then we just built up, layer upon layer. I played electric guitar. He played electric guitar. He played the majority electric guitar. Pete Townsend had given us an array of guitars that he lent us, but I think Caleb stuck to his Epiphone that he got from BB King, that I think used to belong to BB King.
Wow.
Believe it or not. But yeah, but it was just another song that we just built up and built up. And by the way, when you play these songs back, I can't hear them.
Oh, okay.
Really? Can you hear them, Mark?
Yeah, I hear them fine. Sometimes we have that issue when people are on their cell phone for some reason. I don't know why,
Okay.
but
Yeah, well, rest assured, other people are.
yeah.
If anyone's who's listening can't hear the songs and you're not on a cell phone, let us know. We'll have to rectify that. But
Okay.
but anyway, hopefully people are going to hear this one because I think it's beautiful from the Love Songs album, Billy's second, and it's a second track. It's called Gypsy. Here we go.
And everybody loves a gypsy. When they are young and dreams go swiftly. And everybody's free to roam on. Hitch up a horse or take the road on. Out in the fields to find a place and raise a family. Up in the hills where the north wind blows, that's where I'll be. And everybody loves a gypsy. When they are young and dreams pass swiftly. And everybody's free to roam on. Hitch up a horse or take the road on. Out in the fields to find a place and raise a family. Up in the hills where the north wind blows, that's where I'll be.
man. That's it's a very it don't come easy kind of vibe.
Oh yeah, I get that. Now that you're.
Oh yeah,
now that
it
you
really
mention
does. That guitar lick, the sound, it's just of that time. It really kicks. I love it.
Did George ever join you on any of your recording endeavors later on?
No, he didn't. No, and when I joined Media, we sort of drifted, not sort of, we drifted apart really because I was so involved with the Media Records and all the recording and writing that I was doing, so we didn't really get to see much of each other until much later on. I found out later on that if I hadn't signed to Media, I was about to be signed to Apple, but my life would have
Whoa.
changed. My life would have changed totally from that. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
You know what though? It would have changed, but you wouldn't have had a $13,000 album. You're one of the other than the Beatles. I don't know if anybody can say that.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of albums limited at that kind of price that are out there. Man, that's something. That really
yeah. Well, it's interesting, but as I say, they were the first songs I'd ever written, so it's a bit of a weird one for me.
Well, you never know where life's going to take you. We've interviewed so many people on this show, and so many of them from that era, 60s into the early 70s. They had no idea what they were recording was going to be liked by anybody or talked about 50 years later, or however many years is later, 60 years later. And they were just doing what they loved. They followed their passion. They recorded something and they moved on with their life. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, everybody still loves this thing. How's that possible? But
Yeah.
people absolutely do. It's just it's a great signature of the era. I love it.
Yeah. And a few years later, here comes White Horse. And there are three people here in the photo on the back. Would you consider this a band, or you're solo here and they're helping you?
Well, once again, I have to tell you that when I recorded Love Songs, as soon as I'd finished recording Love Songs, the record label fell apart.
Yeah.
Just like Media. And so you couldn't believe, you wouldn't believe how I was feeling about that, because I thought Love Songs was a much better album. And so I went on, and then I met John Linz and Kenny Altman, and they convinced me. So we put a band together to do this album. And then when we finished White Horse, another band called White Horse in America threatened to sue us if we put the album out. And so we had to shelve that one as well. So that's 3 in a row.
So this never actually came out at the time?
No, not really, no. There's only a few copies printed.
All right, so how then did Can't Stop Loving You get to the attention of Leo Sayers people, let's say?
Well, there was a friend of mine in LA that when I'd finished the album, I come home and he got a copy of one of those sort of copies, and he heard that he was in the music business. And he heard that Rupert Perry was recording Leo Sayer, but Rupert didn't think he had a single on the album, and so Tim Pryor, I think his name was, he said, "Well, I think I've heard something," and he sent "Can't Stop Loving You" to Rupert Perry. When now that's a single.
Wow.
And so he recorded that with Leo, and Leo had a big hit with that.
Incredible hit. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you got paid for that one.
I did get paid for that.
Okay, good.
And that sort of just about kept me going, David.
Well, since then, of course, there have been several other cover versions of the song, including, as we mentioned, Phil Collins, Keith Urban, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I think a band called The Outlaws did it as well, I think.
Oh, The Outlaws, yes. That's right.
Outlaws.
They had their time on the charts in the late 70s here in the U.S. So for everyone listening, this is the original version by White Horse. Can't Stop Loving You, Though I Try.
So you're leaving in the morning on the early train. I could say everything's alright. I could pretend and say goodbye. Got your tears it. Got your suitcase, got your leaving smile. I could say that's the way it goes. I could pretend and you won't know that I was lying. 'Cause I can't stop loving you. No, I can't stop loving you. No, I can't stop loving you. Though I try. Took a taxi to the station. Not a word was said. I saw you walk across the road. Maybe the last time, I don't know. Feeling humble, I heard a rumble on the railway track. And when I hear the whistle blow, I walk away and you don't know that I was lying. 'Cause I can't stop loving you. No, I can't stop loving you. No, I can't stop loving you. Though I try. 'Cause I can't stop loving you. No, I can't stop loving you. No, I can't stop loving you. Though I try. No, I can't stop loving you. No, I can't stop.
Wow.
Very long fade. When you wrote that, Billy, did you have Neil Young in mind? Because to me, it sounds so much like something he might have done.
No, I didn't have him in mind, but I mean, I used to listen to him quite a lot. I mean, I think a lot of people were at the time. I was definitely influenced by his writing. I loved the stuff he was doing. I really did. So maybe unconsciously I was trying to sound a little bit like. I've got no idea really.
Beautiful track, though.
Yeah,
Beautiful track.
and the sort of countrified arrangements, was that all you?
Not really. It was just the musicians that were there at the time. As I told you the story, how it began. You know, how I just decided to write a 3/4, and it just having those musicians around at that time, it was perfect for me anyway. I mean, it just turned out.
Who did the arranging of the horn parts and such behind it?
That the horn parts would have been done on a synthesized by Billy Payne, I think.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Nice. All right.
Yeah, they sound pretty authentic.
And whose idea was it to put the white cow on the album instead of a white horse?
Not mine. I came home and John Lynn and Kenny Altman thought it would be very sort of Monty Python-esque. And I said, well, that's not Monty Python at all. I just washed my hands of it.
Wait, did you just drop John Lennon's name casually?
No, John Lind.
Oh, John Lind.
It always cracks me up to see that white cow on the cover. I just, and he's like running through the leaves. It's great.
They start to think it was horse slang for a cow in the UK. I wasn't sure.
No, it was just their idea.
since I mean, you started your label, Southwest, in the late '90s, but just prior to that, you were touring with Pete Townsend, and you said you're not really that comfortable on stage, but maybe as a backup singer, it was easier for you.
Yeah, it's just something that I'd never thought that I would be doing, and then since I went, I musical directed Pete's solo concerts at Brixton Academy. He asked me to do that, and I was singing backing vocal. He asked me to sing backing vocals as well. I'd already started doing that with a band called Asia. I did a concert for Asia. They asked me to sing backup for them,
Oh,
and Pete heard that, and and I think he just said, "Can you help me out?" Which I did, and it just went on from there. But we were already very, really good friends before then. You know,
yeah.
we were working together, and I was singing on a lot of his stuff. So it was just one of those things that just transformed, and so I got involved with the Who big time. I sang on their albums, and eventually I wrote with Pete on various things, but so that's how it's just been, since then, really.
Are you still in touch?
Oh yeah, not so much these days, but we had an affinity with the same mystical situation with Meher Baba, so that's something that was really, really important. Same with Ronnie Lane as well. There was the three of us were very, very involved with each other.
But since you started your label, not only have you done the reissues you mentioned, but you had recorded a few new albums along the way, which I assume you can purchase from your website. No?
Yeah, they're all available on Southwest Records. Yeah,
I have. I think I showed these earlier, but I'm pretty sure I purchased these probably not long after. Or is that Snapshot? Yeah, I got that too, even though it's was part of the 2-disc set. But I also purchased this one back in the day. But now there's some others, so I'll have to investigate that. Are you still recording?
Yeah, I'm still doing that. Yeah, it's one of those things that I don't think I'm going to stop doing. It's like writing. As soon as I've amassed so many songs now, I've got to put them down. And my son Morgan will be on my case. Just say, right, we've got to do this now.
Well, your son and daughter are both in the music business, correct?
That's right. Yeah. I think Morgan, he was in a band called Muse, and
Oh yeah.
And lots of other bands. But he's a bit of a studio rat at the moment. He loves recording just like I do, and so he's going to come down, I think, in about a month's time, and we're going to start recording again.
Oh, wonderful! So maybe a new album is in the works.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
One or two. I've got about 40 tracks recorded on demos on tape, on 24 track that I've never put out. They're just things that didn't make the final cut. So I'm going to have to put those out sometime.
Well, you're going to consult David and I on the album cover in the future.
I will do. That'd be you know what? That would be a great thing to do. I'll send them to you, and then you can give me your feedback.
We will. We'll make sure there are no cows on any of them. Even if you name the album Black Cow or something.
I'm not seeing. I think a cow would be good.
Well, Billy, this was really wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. That was really that's really kind of you. That was really kind. Yeah, it's good. It's good that we've done this. Yeah.
We we love your music. Anytime we're able to have somebody whose music touched us be a guest on our show, we're very grateful.
Yeah. And as I'm telling everybody across the bottom, BillyNicholls.com is scrolling. So if you're looking for anything that Billy's put out, everything he's got available is out there on the website. So, please check it out and for information on future Billy Nicholls projects, which David and we're looking forward to it. So fantastic. Yeah. Great talking to you, Billy.
You too. Thank you so much for being on our program.
Thanks ever so much. God bless you both.
God bless you too.
Have a great one, Billy. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Well, there you go. Billy Nicholls.
That
Wow.
was fun. Yeah. That was fun, and it really flowed well. And we were able to play 4 songs from his career, and yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, that was one of those where it was like, wow, you know.
And wow, I had no idea that White Horse was that much of a favorite of yours.
I love it. That's just one of those albums that it's weird because like I don't listen to it for a long time, but then when I listen to it, I can't stop listening to it, and it's like, oh my gosh, and then it's just like I just love every track on this album, love it. So it's funny, but you know, like there's probably about 50 albums that fall into that category of my top 20 because when I hear it again, it jumps back in.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you don't listen to it for a while. But I love it. Yeah. And Can't Stop Loving You is just such a beautiful song.
It is. And I can see why it was a hit. Now I'm going to have to listen to Leo Sayers' version because
I'm not a big Leo Sayer fan, but his version is just killer.
Does he keep it in the same style?
Yeah, it's a little bit more upbeat. His is a little bit more upbeat,
okay.
Just a tad bit tempo wise. But it's really
I haven't heard Taylor Swift's. I don't know if you have.
I have not either. It was on some
check that out. Yeah,
on some live album thing.
Okay.
Brother, but I haven't been able to find that somewhere. I haven't looked at that hard.
Yeah, next time I see her, I'll say, "Come on, Tay-Tay, did you know
Tay-Tay?
That it was not Phil Collins who wrote Can't Stop Loving You, but it was in fact Billy Nicholls."
I was just so impressed that she chose to do her one cover song, that song. But then you hear she thought it was a Phil Collins song, and then you're like, okay.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that's in her world, yeah. But
still.
Well, that's good. Good that she did it, and he probably got paid something for that too. So that's a good thing.
I imagine so.
Yeah. I didn't want to keep asking him about that after
he
mentioned how
did you make from Taylor Swift? Yeah.
No, I would never ask how much, but even did you get paid after all? You know, after the few times where he didn't, where he should have.
Yeah. No, it's a great song, but. Yeah, he's done so much, and he's sitting here telling us that he's got hundreds and hundreds of songs unrecorded and just sitting there, and
40 recorded.
You know,
so
amazing.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot to put out, and it's good that he's going to have a renaissance. It's very important, and for the people who've been doing this for a long time, there's no rules that say at a certain age you have to stop. If the muse is still there, I don't mean Morgan's band, but if the muse is still upon him and he's got the technology right there, why not do it?
Yeah, and it's it's interesting just the idea of having an album like that from 1968 and then into the 70s, and then literally 50 years later we're still sitting here talking about it live with him.
Almost 60 years later.
Almost 60 years later. That's crazy in and of itself, It's something. And so glad that because we're losing so many of the artists from the 60s and now well into the 70s, to be able to have him on Material Issues and archive this show.
Well, he was really born at the tail end of the 40s. He was born in 1949, and I think it was late in the year too.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was early in the year, but still, he was. Yeah. Well, he looks good, and may God continue to bless him with life and songs. We only have one episode that's booked right now, and that would be our next one on August 27th. And I keep forgetting
July
to pull this out. What'd you say?
July 27th.
July 27th. That's right. I keep forgetting to have the album handy, although maybe it is in this pile. Let's take a look. I don't know why I keep doing that. Oh, here it is. Anyway, it's a band that in the late 90s made their hay on Big Deal Records and a few other labels. They had some, and then in the early 2000s, they had the classic album Pet Soul, which is absolutely beautiful, one of my favorites of its year. And, then they went on to do other things, but now they're back with a brand new album on Big Stir Records. It's called Mobtown, and the name of the band is Splitsville. Nice. That's right, everyone. Splitsville will be our guest. We don't know exactly how many members, but I assume at least Brant Huseman and maybe his twin brother Matt will join him, and possibly Paul Krisiak. So we'll see who's going to join us, but it'll at least be a few of them. And we'll talk about their career and the new album, and what things look like for Splitsville in the future. But here's another band who had been on hiatus forever, and they said, no, we still have it. We still have it within us to record and probably play. So we'll talk all about that. But yes, July 27th at our normal time, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, we will have Splitsville. After that, well, the next Sunday is IPO, and maybe we'll do something live from the Redwood Bar. We'll see how that goes. The following Sunday is also IPO, still at the Redwood Bar. And again, we'll see how that goes. And then on the 17th, we come back from San Diego. And then that night, the Power Pop movie, Justin Fielding's project, will have a pre-release pre-screening at Paul Rock's house. Paul Rock putting on the Wild Honey projects, which proceeds of which go to the Autism Foundation. And Justin, we're gonna have a pre-screening, and I'll be there. I know John Borak will, and I'm sure a few other people that we know, and that should be a lot of fun. So, depending upon when we get back from San Diego, we'll be doing IPO the previous 2 days there. We'll see if we can get an episode in. The show at Wild Honey isn't until 7, so maybe we can start an hour early and do something there. Maybe we'll have a guest. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, we'll do something on the 17th for sure. And I've got some irons in the fire right now for the next few weeks. So we'll see how it all goes.
We'll keep everybody informed. If you haven't subscribed at materialissues.com or here on the Facebook group, do that, and then you'll know what's coming up a couple days ahead of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't scam you, spam you, or download illicit pictures from your website. We just let you know who's coming up and how you can join us live on Materials.
We don't scam you, spam you, or say damn you. Unless you don't listen, then maybe we do under our breaths.
And we're just finishing episode number 213, which blows my mind, but they're all archived at materialissues.com. So if you missed any of them, any of the ones in the 90s, go ahead and check them out.
It's in the 90s, right? Yes.
And somebody,
it's a random number somewhere between 4 and 6, not inclusive.
Who posted the other night that, or the other day somewhere on Facebook, that it was nice to see us on the audio side. I've been slowly getting all of the video archives on the audio.
Spotify?
What's on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, it's on all of them.
Oh wow!
But I got 178 of the 213 episodes uploaded to audio only. So if you're a podcast person, it's out there at podbean.materialissues.
Well, we'll put a link up. Yeah. We'll put a link up on our Facebook pages at some point.
No, it's pretty much go to any audio podcast site and type in Material Issues and you'll find us. So
great.
Yeah,
I had no idea it was that many that you put up. Bravo.
It takes a while because I've got to extract the audio from the video archive and then clean it up and then upload it. But I've been catching up, and I think that was 178 episodes out there. I'm still working. But yeah. So you can listen to it while you're walking outside, and riding your bike, catch up on the archives. It's all good.
Like you do when you walk Ches and Audi.
Which will be happening real soon, yeah.
Which will be happening real soon. But everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Please join us at our regular time next Sunday. Peace. Yeah. It's funny. I actually bought a peace necklace, which I thought was going to be for me. I should have realized that the company was called Kathy Bankston, and that these necklaces are probably not going to fit my manly neck. And as it turned out, that was the case. So I gave it to Rena, and it fit her just fine. So she's got the peace necklace. I'll have to find one that's a little bit longer, has a little bit of a longer strap. But I'm glad it worked out that she got it.
Indeed. Well, we thank everybody for hanging out with us, and we're back to our normal time next week with Splitsville, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, right here, materialissues.com. Love to Rena.
Love to Ches and Audi.
See you, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks a lot. Take care.